Hi, this is Andrew for Geek News Central, and today we're at home with the Shark DuoClean Cordless Upright with Powered Liftaway. That did take a couple of takes. And this, as you can see over here, it's a battery-powered vacuum cleaner that has a number of modes of use. I've been using this for about 9 months now, so this vacuum cleaner is very much as it's been in use almost on a daily basis here at home. I haven't cleaned it up or anything like that, so what you're going to see is what you get. My overall impression of the DuoClean is that this is a really well designed vacuum cleaner. There are loads of features in it which just make it easy to use. And to give you an example, if you get something stuck or jammed in it, it's always really easy to figure out how to get into that nook or that cranny to get out the blockage and things like that. Now, to be fair, blockages don't happen very often, but it's just the point of the design. I have been using this for about 9 months, so it is as you see it. I really like it. It's great for doing the vacuum, doing the floors, vacuuming the floors. It handles both carpets and hard floors really well. It's not too bad for the stairs as well, because you've got this mode where this part of it comes away, and you can use it just, if you like, with the nozzle and things. We'll look at the various bits and pieces. Let me just pop that up again. So in the box you get the vacuum cleaner itself, and you get 3 other attachments. So there's a nozzle, kind of like a little dust brush, and you've got the one for doing fabrics, things like that here. You also get the battery charger. Hopefully you can see that. And this is one example of how this is well designed. The battery charger has suckers on the floor, so that when you put it onto the floor and you have the battery pack, you pop that in here, you can then pull it straight out without bringing the charging cradle with you. So that's just one example of how well it works. Now, in terms of battery life, just whilst we're on the topic, you get about 45 to 50 minutes, depending on what surfaces you're vacuuming, whether you're using the boost power and things like that. Battery charging does take a while as well, takes a couple of hours. So it can be a little bit frustrating that if you're in the middle of a job and the battery runs out, you have to wait a while until you can get back into the work. Having said that, it just means generally that you need to be prepared, and that once you've finished doing a vacuuming one day, you remember to plug the battery in. You can also plug the charging thing directly into the back of the vacuum cleaner. You don't need to use the little charging thing, but we actually found it very handy to be able to put this away in the cupboard where there's no power socket, and yet you're still charging in the kitchen. So let's just take a quick look round everything. I will have a separate video that actually deals with some of the cleaning aspects of it. Now, the picture frame isn't quite big enough to get everything in. You've got your handle here. It allows you really to turn it on, and you can switch between a carpet mode and a wooden floor mode, and there's also a boost button as well. So if I just turn it on, you'll perhaps see that there's little lights, and you can just spread it to. And really, the main difference here is that in the carpet mode, the main rotor kind of at the bottom spins around, and in the wooden floor mode it doesn't. You can perhaps also see that there are lights on the vacuum cleaner, which are really good for. Oh, why don't I turn this off? As you can see there are lights on the vacuum cleaner, if you like, on the head bit. So it's good for when you're vacuuming along the floor. It actually highlights through shadow that you've got big crumbs or big lumps or whatever. So it's pretty good actually for making sure that you vacuum up what you're supposed to. There are some safety features as well, in that there's whoops, I keep pulling this out as I keep pressing that button. That's that. There is a little green light that will come on here to warn you that if the roller isn't rotating for whatever reason on the bottom, and you need to fix that. Sometimes you can get hair and things building up there. The base also flexes so that you can kind of vroom round corners and things like that. It's pretty good from that point of view. Very flexible. And obviously, if you are wanting to get right underneath something, you can actually take the whole unit off, and then you can kind of get right underneath something. So it's really good for getting under sofas, furniture, those kinds of things. Whilst we're here, you can see that this all comes apart. You can kind of get into, let me just move that out of the way a little bit. You can get into a kind of handheld mode, So let's say we want to get some dirt out, some crevices. Again, sucking away there. And if you need something that's a little bit further, this piece here also comes off. You can obviously put that on there, put that back on there, and we've got a bit for doing, and you've got something for doing curtains, for sucking spiders off the roof, all those kinds of useful activities. So you've seen how that comes on there. If we need to, get rid of the dust and all that kind of stuff, this bit just pulls off here. If you can get it right, it's usually easier when it's stuck to the thing. Come on, that's it. And I think I've got a handy bin here. You've actually got two ways of emptying it. You can obviously empty out the bottom, lovely, and you can also release out the top if you need to get at the upper bits. Let's just get rid of that. And then it's just clips back on, and then let's just pop this back on here too. Oops, there you go. That's it. So, as I said, there's also lots of nice features. You can, if you need to get rid of pull the hose off, that just comes off like that. So if you need to clear a blockage or anything's got in there, you can do that too. Let's just put it back in there. As I mentioned, this is all getting a bit cluttered here. As I mentioned, you can charge the vacuum cleaner directly and charge the battery directly, and there's a little charging port. I think you can just see it there. Here's the battery. The battery just pull out. There are lights on the top. You can't really see them here. I think if I turn it on, and it basically shows in, I think it's thirds, how full the battery is, from not full at all to very full on this side. Trying to think what other features there are to tell you about. There's definitely a cleaning overhead. The roller on the bottom tends to get hair picked up on it. If you've got people, particularly people with long hair, that gets picked up. And again, the design means that there's a relatively easy way of getting, and you can see hair on here, but you basically can unscrew, not unclip, but twist and turn type stuff. This part of the mechanism all comes away, so you can then get the scissors out and get rid of the offending hair. Whoops, sorry. What else is there to say? I mean, it's one of these things that the more you use it, the more little features you find. So I mean, that covers the main bits of it. I will have some videos after this segment of the vacuum cleaner in use. I've got some footage of vacuuming the kitchen. There's footage, I think, of vacuuming up some pine needles after the Christmas tree had been here. And then I've actually got a bit of us using the vacuum outside to sweep up leaves off one of the children's trampolines. So we'll check those out in a minute. I mean, in terms of cleaning power and suction, all that kind of, I think it's great. I mean, you know, you can very easily vacuum, not easily. It's the cleaning power is great. You can go over your carpet, you know, basically just the usual backwards and forwards once or twice, and it gets them, you know, the stuff up off the carpet. Wooden floors, it does really well too. I think the big problem with wooden floors often is that the bits of crumbs, or the crumbs are okay, but sometimes you have slightly bigger things. It has a tendency to just push those forwards rather than actually sucking those up. And you know, that'll really depend on the clearance here and how hard you push it and all those kinds of things, and what it is you're picking up. So that's just one thing to kind of think about. But I think in terms of use, that's broadly it. I really like it. I think it would be fair to say. So now the vacuum cleaner is at the upper end of Shark's range. The DuoClean comes in at about, I think it's on sale at the moment at about £350, but its RRP is over £400. So it's not a cheap purchase by any stretch of the imagination. I would say that if I had paid the money, I probably would be pretty happy with it. The convenience of not having the cable is great. You know, it means you can just whip it out the cupboard, give it a quick vac, whip it back into the cupboard, and you know, you've cleaned your carpet. There's no unrolling the cable, finding a socket, plugging it in, putting the cable back in. Even with these ones that automatically pull the cable back in, it's always still a bit of a faff. So I'm really pleased with it from that point of view. Are there any downsides? Obviously I mentioned the battery life, you know, when it runs out, but most of the time you can get over that with a bit of preparation. I think the only thing I would say is that stairs can still be a bit of a challenge, but I think that's just the nature of stairs, in that, you know, you need to use this bit to get into the crevice, and then you're going to use, either depending on the width of your stairs, you might be using this just in kind of like lift away mode with this head, or you might be switching over to one of these other heads. You know, stairs are always a pain in the backside, and you know, I think it does a good enough job, but they're always the last thing to do. What I did have a lot of fun with this was that we have Velux windows upstairs, and this kind of thing is really good for cleaning around the edges of the Velux when you've got it tilted on the inside. Sometimes when you're cleaning it, things will fall in. This is really good for going around the crevices and things like that. So, okay, so we've just brought in the Christmas tree, and there's pine needles rather everywhere. So we're just going to give the Shark a wee trial run, see how well it does vacuuming up pine needles. Here we go. Oops. Okay, well, I never thought that I would be vacuuming a trampoline with the Shark vacuum cleaner, but we'll give it a go and see how we get on. Okay, this might be slightly bumpy footage. And of course, right, here we go. That's kind of bird poop, which is why I don't want to vacuum it up. Hi, this is Andrew, and we're back with the Shark IC160. What I wanted to talk about in this little section was kind of cleaning and maintenance of the Shark. One thing I think everyone who's had a vacuum cleaner will know is that sometimes they get blocked. You've either been over-ambitious in sucking up something, or maybe there's been something sticky that's come up as well. And I've actually been impressed by how much of the vacuum cleaner actually comes apart to help you clean it, or if something's got jammed. So I'm just going to run through the if you like, the features of it, so that you can see how easy it is to clean and some of the little pitfalls. So let's start with the easy ones. The part up here comes away so that you can empty out the debris that's been collected by the vacuum cleaner. You can see all the rubbish in here. It comes apart, well, not comes apart, but it opens in two different ways. You can hit the button here and it will fall out the bottom, or you can hit the top here and you can lift up the top, and you can kind of see all the muck and the debris that's collected on that. So I've got a bag here, so it's a bit difficult doing this one-handed, but let's get rid of some of the dirt and the muck out of this. So it just flips down, and you can kind of see, you shake it to get it up, and that's out the bottom. And then if anything has caught on top, now you see you're supposed to only vacuum until you feel like you get dust up to there, but inevitably some gets pulled up that way. So again, you can just kind of pull this off, and you kind of get that grey dust on here, so you sometimes just need to pick away at that. But that's that bit done. And that's the kind of thing that you'll have to do on a fairly regular basis, depending on how dirty or fluffy your carpet is. So one of the other bits we want to look at are some of the filters on the other side. You've got one right here, which if I remember, you come down here and that you can kind of see it gets really dusty. The good thing about this one here is that it's all washable, so you can take it down to your sink, give it a rinse, let it dry on the radiator, and it's really nice and clean and good to go. This is very fine dust, so I'm not going to try and knock it off because the carpet will get covered in dust. So I'm just going to pop that back in very carefully and slip that back in there. So as you can see, everything really comes off easily. Now there is also a Hepa filter in here, and I have to say I've forgotten how to get this one out. Maybe come back to that one. The other thing that happens quite often is that sometimes the vacuum cleaner will run. Sometimes the vacuum cleaner will run and then it will stop, and the reason for that is that the shark actually detects that the rollers aren't running correctly. And what we'll see when we look on the bottom here is that there's been an awful lot of clogging. What you get is you get these kind of tufts where the roller has kind of trapped carpet hair against it, and also you can kind of see that so we can get a better picture here. You can kind of see that the hair and the fluff and everything is all caught around the roller, and it's not really spinning as fast as it should. So Shark have made it really easy to clean this kind of stuff. To start with, the roller comes off really just by pressing. There's a little button. Where is it? Yeah, there's a little red button here. Hopefully you can see it. So you just push that forwards, and the roller comes off, and then any of the trapped hair along here just comes away, and you can just pick that up and put that in the bin. And again, it's very easy to put that back in. We'll do it in a second. The other bit you can get at is this area here. You can see that there's lots of long hair. You're going to need to cut that away. Now they've made it very easy. Again, you just need a coin to go in here, turn these into the unlocked position. So it's just a case of twisting these around, and then if I've done all of them, this comes away and you've got access to the roller. Now I don't know whether this is by design or accident, but there's some really neat little grooves that go along here, so you can just use a pair of scissors, run them along that groove, and then you can pretty much just kind of peel the hair and things away. Now I find you have to, well, I guess it's going to depend on how dirty your house is, or how dusty, but I find I have to do this probably maybe once a month, something like that. But you can kind of see how this all gets tied up, but it just requires a bit of a pull to get it off. Now what this does also show is that if you do get stuff blocked, again you have access into the pipe work here, that you can run a wooden spoon or something like that up, whatever you use, straighten coat hanger to clear any blockages up that way. I'm just going to pop this back on again because I think we've already cleaned enough. And again, putting it back on again is just put it into place and use the key to turn it into the lock position. You kind of get that little click just to show that it's in the right place, and then putting this back on is pretty straightforward as well. I'll just get rid of that piece of fluff as well. So it's a case of slotting that in, just rotate that around, and it's clicked back in. So that's pretty good. Other things that make life easy, this pipe here, you can press, let me just turn it around again so the camera can see it. There's a hose release, so again you can just press that, it comes away, and again if you need to clear out the hose, you can use whatever favourite tool is for implementing or for getting that out. As I say, I think that's probably about it. I mean, again, you can kind of see some of the airways here, a bit of dust around that. This bit also, I mean, we've probably covered this in the in action bit. You can lift that out. So again, if you need to, that takes you down to the rollers at the bottom. So again, you can get access to clean that out if you need to, and you've got access. This bit here pulls off. So once you've got that free, you've really just got the rubber hose bit here, and then you've got a straight pipe here which you can clean out as well if necessary. And putting everything back in again is just a case of clicking it all back in. You can hear it all clicking back in, even if you can't see it. So you can see there's a fair bit of debris on the floor from the cleaning, so I'll have to vac that all up in a minute. So I think that's roughly it. I think we've looked at all the bits. And then just putting these bits back on. It's just a case of clicking them into place. Pop the battery back in. And we're good to go. So I'm just going to vacuum this lot up, even though you can't see it, top of it. Okay, well that's a quick summary of the Shark DuoClean. It's a great little vacuum cleaner. The cordless nature of it makes it really convenient, really handy for all kinds of situations. And the different modes of operating as well mean that you really only need one vacuum cleaner. I really haven't used, we had kind of one of those little handheld cordless ones. I really haven't used those since I got this one, because this one's as convenient to get out of the cupboard, and it also tends to be a bit more powerful. So you actually do a better job in hoovering up all those crumbs and things like that. So, from that point of view, you just need the one vacuum cleaner. As I said, it's on sale at the moment for about £350. If you go over to Shark's website, it's at sharkclean.eu. So shark as in the fish, clean as in cleaning stuff, and .eu. I don't think there's much more to say. I really like it. As I said, I didn't pay for it myself, but had I bought it, I think I'll be pretty happy with it. There's just lots of features to make it an easy to use and versatile vacuum cleaner. So let's call it. This is Andrew for Geek News Central. Thanks very much.